Peace to all. Thank you for the continued support. It is much appreciated. And in this video, we're going to chop it up regarding, adapting to the circumstance, adapting to the situation, adapting to the scenario that you are finding yourself in, that you are involved in when it comes to anything that you may experience. In life, you're going to have to go through all sorts of experiences, and those experiences are the way that you deal with those experiences, the way that you go through those experiences, the way that you flourish, the way that you thrive throughout those circumstances, whatever they may be, is going to be important and tied into your growth and development on your journey in life. And when it comes to being able to adapt to certain circumstances, I think that you can have, ways that you can adapt to circumstances when it comes mentally, ways that you can do that when it comes physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So I'm just going to chop it up regarding adapting to situations. And for example, I had to work late last night and then get the rest that I needed. And prior to working last night, I had to go get in a hard workout and then get home, get fed, then go to the gym, go to work and work from this time to this time. And today I was expecting to work much later on this evening, but I'm going to be working even earlier. So I had to get up, and realizing that, I expected to have a lot more time to get this video done. Mentally, I had in my mind that, okay, I've thought about doing the video in the morning when I get up, like probably right now, with no time pressure. So it wouldn't have mattered how long necessarily that video would be, or how much time I was going to be able to put into it. I physically, prepared to get the amount of rest that I needed in order to get up at a certain time and go down or go wherever I'm going to, get in there and record the video and put out a video. I emotionally was content and pretty much balanced on the fact that I'm going to return to making a video. I want to do this. I feel like I should do this. So in alignment with my path and my journey was found when it comes to emotionally and also spiritually. Even though I don't have to do videos or have to do anything to be working on my spirituality or whatever that may be, but spiritually, even just going through the experiences that you go through is what spirituality is all about, and how you are going through those situations and how you are going through those experiences and being able to adapt to those. So I adapted to the situation by saying, mentally, I am going to actually go in there, do the video now. Therefore, I can think ahead of time to get that out of the way. Therefore, I have the rest of the time before I have to go to work to go to the gym, do some auxiliary exercises, some stuff that really doesn't get that sore, but you're still going to be able to put in some work. Therefore, when you are at work for an extended period of time, you can feel like you've been productive. I can feel like I've already done a video. Mentally, I've already challenged myself in that area, and I've already pushed myself mentally towards using my physical state of being to get exercise, to do whatever I may need to do. And so it's just adapting to the situation. Okay, let me get this out of the way now. Therefore, I can just not have to go back and forth. I can take everything that I need in thinking about this when it comes to mentally. Therefore, I can take whatever I need to just go from there to there, not having to do multiple trips or whatever. When it comes to physically planning that out, be able to adapt to the situation and saying, okay, this is the way I'm going to travel in this situation, because things have changed and there's nothing wrong with that. Change is always a constant thing, so you have to adapt to change. I'm going to go here to here, rather than here to here to here to here. At the end of the day, when I have a time crunch, or I have like a timely pressure, I'm going to be able to adapt to that. I'm going to say, physically, how can I move about? How can I travel through this situation on a path of least resistance when I'm already on a roll when it comes to pushing myself mentally, pushing physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Therefore, you can be in your power as most possible when it comes to mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and you're not getting so fatigued in those areas, and you're able to apply yourself in such a great way that in those situations that you're dealing with and the experiences that you have to carry out through, you're going to be strong and you're going to be powerful nonetheless, whatever it is that you have to deal with. When it comes emotionally, simply being able to say, even though I could sit here and tell myself I'm tired and I don't feel like getting up, I thought I was going to have more time, I wanted more time, this, that, whatever I could tell myself as far as emotional state of being, I had to grow up, I had to be mature when it comes to emotionally and say, no, I'm going to get up right now. I want to get up right now, even though originally I didn't have to, but adapting to the situation, I want to get up right now. I want to go get this video out of the way. And then after that, I'll have some more balance when it comes to emotionally. Understanding what space you're going to be in after putting in that work is going to help you, benefit you in order to adapt to the situation when it comes to emotionally. So therefore, I'll be more balanced after I, do what I had to do, rather than having to put it off till later. I'm able to do that now, therefore finding more balance when it comes emotionally. And now I can go through and adapt to the situation even better when it comes emotionally. And when it comes to spiritually, I am putting all the, faith in myself and in my spirit to be as strong as ever, and to call on myself as the strong spirit that I know that I am, to continue on pushing forward on my spiritual path, to continue on pushing on through my spiritual journey, pushing on through my spiritual mission that I have to complete in order to go to the next situation and continue on being a strong spirit in those situations. No matter what it is, I have to adapt to that situation and be able to go from one situation to the next while adapting to the situation mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That's this quick intro. Probably got about 10, 12 more minutes till I got to get going. So I'm going to run down adapting to situations. We're going to go mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And we might even start spiritually and go the other way, because I just kind of want to switch it up. Why do I want to do that? Well, adapting to the situation. Maybe that's something that I'm being called upon, or I'm sensing my intuition that, hey, you need to start this way. You need to start the other way around. You need to start in reverse this time. Give me 1 second. So when it comes to, spiritually adapting to the situation, or adapting to whatever situation, right, scenario or experience that you're dealing with, is going to be using your spiritual intuition, using your spiritual senses and your spiritual systems to be able to adapt to the situation that you're in. Adapt to whatever it is that you are dealing with. Adapt to whatever it is that you are going through. Being able to, let's say, maybe change a spiritual system that you're dealing with. Change a spiritual way or perspective of the way that you look at things in order to get through that experience in a much prosperous way, in a way where you can go through the experience and being adapted to the situation where you're not staying so stuck, you're not staying so docile, you're moving through and almost flowing through the situations in a way where spiritually you know that you're in your power no matter what it is that you're dealing with. You know that you're spiritually in that state of being, and that you're putting value in the spiritual state of being, and that you're spiritually being strong no matter what it is that you're having to deal with. being able to adapt to the situation that you are in, being able to adapt to the situation's scenario, the experience that you're going through is going to, when it comes to in terms of spiritually, you got to adapt spiritually. Adapt your spiritual system, adapt the spiritual lens that you look at things through. And through that, you're attaining more spiritual knowledge, attaining more spiritual wisdom of how to best adapt to these situations, of how to best go through these situations, of how to best adapt to these scenarios, of how to best adapt to these experiences that you're dealing with. In regards to spiritually, you got to have spiritual faith in yourself and spiritual faith in the process and the situation that you're in for the situation to go the way that you are best benefiting from it, or that is most prosperous in terms of spirituality, in terms of the situation and going through that situation, and be able to adapt to that situation, if you guys get what I mean. Before I go any further, like the video, subscribe to the channel, whatever you can do to show support. And other than that, let's get right into emotionally. When it comes to emotionally adapting to situations and scenarios that you're dealing with, being able to be free-flowing with your emotional state of being is important, and able to be able to adapt to the situation, not being so fixated, not being so content on certain outcomes, certain things, or ways that you want to feel, or ways that you want to react to whatever it is that you're dealing with when it comes emotionally. It's going to be important when it comes to adapting to things as far as emotionally. When it comes to emotionally adapting to the situation, you got to be balanced, you got to be open and vulnerable enough to be able to adapt to those situations. Like I said, not fixated on things, but being able to move through the situation with an adeptus emotionality. And of course, when it comes to the spirituality, just to go back to it, being an adeptus spirit, being able to take your spiritual essence, your spiritual power into any situation, and being able to adapt to the situation and being adept about it, is what we're talking about. And when it comes to being an adeptus, when it comes to emotionally, being able to be emotionally present in any situation that you're dealing with, and being able to adapt to that situation as far as emotionally. If something happens a certain way, being able to not, let's say, overreact when it comes emotionally, or react in a way that is not beneficial or prosperous when it comes emotionally. Being able to adapt to that and bring your emotional state of being back to a place of balance, back to a place of power, back to a place of strength. Therefore, you can get through the situation in the best way possible that you are dealing with when it comes to emotionally. Emotionally adapting to things is going to be hard. It's not the easiest thing to do. Just adapting to things in general takes work. So it takes going through the experiences. It takes dealing with the experiences in order to adapt. One day you might feel like you don't. Okay, let me tell you this. One day or week or multitude of days or months or however amount you may feel like you can't be touched. You may feel like you're the top of the top. You may feel like you're king of the hill for whatever amount of time. And for whatever reason, but universe, God, source will put you in a situation where you're tested, where you're forced to adapt to the situation. You might be all of a sudden in a situation where you are drained, you are tired, you are having challenges again, you're having difficulties again, even though the past, X amount of time, everything was flowing great, all the energy was consistent, the situations and scenarios were moving and flowing the way that they would. But you're gonna have to face music, and being like, okay, I'm being aware of this though. I am aware that there's been a shift, and I'm aware that there's been a shift not only externally with what's going on around me, and I'm having to adapt to that, but there's been a shift when it comes to internally as far as what's going on, that I have to adapt to that as well. And So being able to adapt to that emotionally and being like, okay, I'm here for it, I'm present for it, I'm open and vulnerable for it. Let's deal with this. Let's adapt to this situation. Let's adapt to this experience. Therefore, we can go and we can follow through with this experience as we should. When it comes to, adapting physically being able to adapt to a situation is switching up how you move, adapting to that situation, scenario, or experience that you're dealing with in order to best be physically protected in a situation, in order to best be, like I said, how you move through the situation, best path of, let's say, least resistance, or the path of choosing the right resistance when it comes to physically being able to adapt to a situation and say, physically I got to put a lot more effort forward, physically I got to put this kind of effort forward, physically I got to do these types of things, I got to move like this, I got to put in these physical actions, there's these places I need to go to, there's these people that I need to deal with, there's these things that I need to use or deal with when it comes to physically being able to adapt to a situation and being like, okay, in this situation I actually need to use these things, in this situation I need to travel in this fashion, in this situation I need to deal with these people, in this situation I don't need to deal with these people, in this situation I need to adapt to this situation to be able to have these certain actions in order to get through this situation in the most beneficial and prosperous way. In this situation I need to go through and be this way as far as physically, have these actions as far as physically, being able to adapt to the situation, being able to have that the physical perspective of, okay, this is what it is, this is what it is, let me adapt to the situation and be able to, let's say, structure things in the right way where you're adapting to the situation. A wrench gets thrown in your plan, or something goes haywire, or all hell breaks loose, or whatever that may be as far as your plans or whatever you had going on as far as already occurring physically, you got to be able to adapt to that when it comes to physically, which means come up with a new plan, being able to accept the facts, being it is what it is. Therefore, you can move forward and be physically strong and physically present and physically adapting and adeptus towards whatever situation you're dealing with as far as physically. When it comes to mentally adapting to things, being able to have that mental perspective of, okay, I'm going to see the perspective, or I'm going to see the situation, the scenario, or experience that I'm going through, and having that perspective to see it in an all-encompassing way where you're almost seeing it from an eagle eye, you're almost seeing it from, a third-person type way of viewing, or whatever that may be. When it comes to mentally, you got to be able to mentally adapt to that. Situation that you're going through, in order to best adapt to that situation, in order to best adapt to that situation scenario, in order to best adapt, or let's say adapt to that experience that you're dealing with. So being able to be emotionally vulnerable, mentally vulnerable, mentally fluent, mentally strong, and mentally empowered to adapt to whatever situation you're going through, and to be mentally strong in any situation that you're going through, and to be physically strong in through any situation that you're going through, or that you have to adapt to when it comes to physically, or any situation that you have to adapt to when it comes to mentally, or any situation you have to adapt to when it comes to emotionally, any situation you have to adapt to when it comes to spiritually. So power to you on your path, power to you to having to go through these experiences, through these situations, through these scenarios in a way where you're adapting to whatever it is you're dealing with, in a way that you're adapting to the best way towards being prosperous, beneficiary towards the stimuli that you're dealing with in regards to the response of the situation that you're dealing with, adapting to that and what you're having to deal with and what you're having to adapt to. So continuously stay strong, through your path and through your journey and through the mission that you're on, and being able to adapt to whatever situation that you're dealing with. So that's going to be it for adapting to the situation. Stay strong spiritually, stay strong emotionally, stay strong physically, and stay strong mentally. I'm out.